strat planning is really Squid Games. Everyone fighting over this pile of the budget that's hanging over everybody's head.
Internal fighting is insane. The enemy is not here. It's there.
Why are you fighting over budget? You should be fighting over 76% of the category economics. So it's fall, and of course with fall often comes annual planning and long-range planning and strapping and budgets and everything else. And so those of us who have either served or, like Christopher, been a senior executive at a publicly traded company or a large privately held company, you know kind of what the cycle is like. Every function has their needs, and every business unit is trying to say they're the sexy opportunity of the year, and every senior management team and CEO, their job is capital allocation. And yet, my observation after having done this for 25 plus years is that there's not a lot of thinking that goes on. There's a lot of doing, and that's problematic because, as we say here on the pirate ship, thinking about thinking is the most important kind of thinking. And so part of what I have found has been a lot of these strat plans are these monster PowerPoints, and PowerPoint is probably inversely correlated with the amount of thinking that goes on. And so I've found that a simple visual framework has been very helpful. This is kind of my Fortune 500 world, and one of the frameworks that I will use is I call it a chessboard. So imagine 3 columns and 4 rows. So there's kind of 12 boxes. Column 1, that's competitive strategy. We call it be the winner. I don't really have a point of view. I don't have a problem to solve. The problem is Cat. And for me to win, Cat has to lose. And I'm going to show you all the great plans and tactics that I have. And this is where the rows come in: on the product or the service, on the marketing. This is what I'm going to do from that standpoint, on the sales, or in the CPG land, retail execution, or on the manufacturing R&D land. Like, these are the things that I'm going to do to make sure that I am the winner and Cat is the loser, and that's kind of the strategy at its core. Most people are just doing this reflexively. They're not actually being reflective and thinking about that. And I would say in my world, about 90% of businesses kind of fall in that category of strategy, don't even think about or realize that they're there. And so the second column in the middle is what we would call your typical, product-led growth, all that kind of stuff of the best product wins. I call it be the best. And I have the best product. It's the Spinal Tap. Mine goes to 11, is kind of the thinking. The question becomes, does the customer actually care that it goes to 11? It's either I have the best product, I have the best marketing, I have the best sales execution, I have the best manufacturing. In many cases, I would say about 9% of companies fall into that bucket. The last bucket, and we use this to tee up all of our point of view on category design, is if it's not the be the winner and it's not be the best, we call it the be different camp. And this is a very deliberate choice of I'm not going to accept the premise. I'm going to reject the premise, and I'm not going to compete on features or price or anything else like that. And I'm not going to even worry about being the best as the way history has defined it, but I'm going to be different by thinking about a problem that I'm trying to solve for and articulating a point of view that is radically different on the product side, the marketing side, the sales or retail execution side, or the manufacturing side. It's a bit of a simplification of our 8 levers that we've pulled over the years. What I've found is that a lot of executives have a great time talking about this, and that it seems like a lot of work. Annual planning is a lot of hee-haw and doodads and this and that. You're trying to run a business and plan for next year and ask for money and kind of get an attaboy and attagirl from the CEO. And yet, this framework I have found to be extraordinarily helpful for companies to say, oh, I'm there. I'd never thought of myself as there, and is that okay? Because what you can very clearly do is tie your choice of where you are on this kind of chessboard box, and what does it mean in terms of how much your total addressable market is. It also has implications for the actions that you take, right? And so if you are a be the winner company, why are you investing all this money in R&D? Because you're clearly just saying, I just need to outrun the slowest guy or gal, not the bear. Or similarly, why are you doing some funky, lightning strike that would be more appropriate for a category design situation if you're trying to be the winner? It forces an honest conversation about strategy. And then it forces an honest conversation about the actions that you want to take. Does it actually tie to your strategy? Does it make sense? And then the last one, it actually ties very nicely to what the implications are for your P&L. If you're different, then your costs actually go down on a percentage basis of sales. And it's actually far more efficient because you're relying on word of mouth and other things like that to generate the growth for you. And that, in fact, not only does your cost go down, the incrementality of your business also goes up because you are largely drawing customers and revenue from other categories around you and not just sourcing from within. Be the winner, your total cost shouldn't change. Where you place your bets and your cost of goods, or on the marketing side or on the sales side, that should go up, but you should be taking money away from somewhere else because you're not going to be able to charge a premium if you're just a better, cheaper, faster, something else like that. And on the middle side, as you said, your cost should go up, and if you're not doing something right, but your price premium should go up as well.
So, look, let's call a spade a spade. Most of the tech world, the reality is the quote-unquote strategic planning for next year is anything but. What it is it just devolves into a game of jump ball for money. So the CMO is trying to protect her budget and or grow it, and that's what the head of R&D is doing, and so forth and so on. What it's not is a conversation about the following. How will come here, buddy? Come here. How will this, whatever the this is in the plan, a new product development initiative, a new marketing initiative, whatever the thing is, right? How will this help us design and dominate a giant category that matters? And if we can't answer that question, then what are we doing? And the aha here is, and this is challenging for some people to wrap their brain around, but give us the opportunity to challenge traditional thinking. The category is the strategy. Category design is the business strategy. If you've been studying category design for any length of time, you know the primary research shows that 76% of the total value created goes to one company, the category queen. And so as it relates to the annual planning process, the strategic discussion that we've seen incredible CEOs, CMOs, CFOs, CROs engage in is, we're heading into the new fiscal year. What worked and didn't work this prior year in the context of, or through the lens of, did this initiative, new product, new field expansion, acquisition, marketing thing, whatever this is, move us forward in the overall objective of designing and dominating a giant category that matters? Think about a Microsoft by way of example. They play in multiple categories. Virtually every major corporation does. And so they've got to look at it across the categories that they play in. But I think the aha here is, don't let the annual strategy planning devolve into a budget exercise where people fight for money. That's literally the dumbest fucking thing we can do. The smartest thing we can do is we can say, we, the leadership team of this company, because as a CMO, if you think about yourself as the person who runs marketing, you've already lost. You're not there to protect marketing. You're not there to grow marketing. You're not there to whatever marketing. You're not there to do any of that. The CMO, just like the CEO, just like the CFO, just like the CRO, just like the UFO, is all there for the same reason. How do we design and dominate a giant category, or in the case of a major corporation, categories that matter? Because all the economics go to the leader. That is the strategic discussion. And as we have that discussion, and as Eddie said, we reject the premise, we open the aperture of our mind, we really think this thing through, then we ask ourselves, what is the most powerful allocation of resources that we have across the company. Because we don't have our budget. There's no such thing as our budget. There's no marketing budget, okay? The company has money that it invests every year, period. And we allocate it as capital allocators inside the company in the places that we think are going to most powerfully help us design and dominate a category that matters. And so when it comes to the strategic planning, that's the lens. The category is the strategy. One company is going to win in this space, one. And it's going to be the company that leads, that sets the agenda, that educates the world on why they should move from the old way to the new and different way. Everything is the way that it is because somebody changed the way that it was. Everything we value, we get taught to value. Category designers do that. So when we think about the annual strategic planning, the lens is anything we're doing, any resource we're allocating to any initiative, does it help us design and dominate a giant category that matters and take 2/3 of the economics? And if it doesn't, we must ask ourselves, why are we doing that? And this idiocy, and it happens in all departments, it certainly happens in marketing, of I'm going to go in and fight for budget. I got to go in and protect our budget. I got to get... It's not your fucking budget. There's one budget. There's one company. There's one revenue line. There's one EPS line. And everybody has the same stock. Okay? And all those things either go up and to the right or they don't. The company either makes a giant difference for its customers or it doesn't. There's no scenario under which, marketing wins and everybody else loses. Are you insane? We all win or we all lose. And so, as we go to think about strategic planning, the category is the strategy. Don't be confused. One company takes the vast majority of the economics. And the question is, what initiatives do we need to fund in the coming year to make sure we are the category leader?
You know what I love about that is the image that kept coming to mind was strat planning is really Squid Games. It's everyone fighting over this pile of the budget that's hanging over everybody's head, and it's the misnomer of why are you fighting over budget? You should be fighting over 76% of the category economics.
Internal fighting is insane. The enemy is not here. It's there. All you have to do is look at the stats, right? Over 90% of startups, venture-backed startups fail. And so many legendary companies had incredible technologies go nowhere. The smartest entrepreneurs and VCs in Silicon Valley understand what's at stake. What's at stake is 2/3 of the economics. And so the companies that win understand this. They understand that they have to be the company that sets the agenda and drives the way people think about the problem and the solution. They understand they're not in a demand capture game. A demand capture game is a race to the bottom. Everybody says, okay, well, let's get our SEO going so we can get some maximum amount of leads and or traffic to our funnel and our website and we'll drive revenue, right? Okay, well, look, there's some smartness about that. However, they play a game of jump ball for keywords on Google, whether they're paying for them or trying to optimize. Let's say you sell pants. You're like, okay, well, let's get a great website, and we're going to have all this pants content, and we're going to try to optimize our website for pants SEO and da-da-da-da-da-da, so that whenever anybody Googles pants or new pants or cool pants or innovative pants, whatever it is you think you sell, that when they type that in, they get to you. You rank on the first page, even if you have to pay for it. Here's what almost nobody asks. What makes people Google innovative pants in the first place? And so category design is about leading the agenda in a space, framing, naming, and claiming a problem, and executing on delivering the solution. And so the greatest strategy minds in the world don't think internally. Most strategy discussions are an internal discussion around where we're going to apply resource. No. Category design is an external view, starting with who's our super consumer? What real problems does she have that she may know of or may not even know of? And how do we become the company that owns the problem for her and therefore becomes the solution. I personally believe it's important for the leadership to establish a few things. So as CMO, I worked hard to establish the following. Sales and product/engineering, they're not our enemy. Point A. Point B, we're not their service bureau. We're partners. And if I hear one person blaming sales, blaming engineering, doing the dumb shit to create internal division, go fuck yourself. You're not allowed to do that here. And look, if you legitimately see a problem in the way our field organization is working, of course, bring it forward. I'm not talking about that. If you same thing on the engineering product development side, I'm not talking about that. That's smart. But you should be willing to do that about marketing if you're in marketing too. And you should be open to somebody in sales coming forward and criticizing and or providing feedback or a request into marketing. All that stuff is legitimate. What's not legitimate is getting confused. One company, one revenue line, one set of customers. We all have the same stock, and it's our resource. The marketing budget is not our budget.